If you have a job interview coming up, then you probably are either excited or scared as hell. Anxiety level goes up the roof. Your emotions are all tangled up and you think you have everything covered, but deep inside, you're almost ready to hit the panic button. I get it. I've been interviewed so many times in my professional career that I know exactly how you're feeling. Now that I'm the opposite side of the fence as a hiring manager, I realize that there's a science behind how job interviews are being conducted. And today, I'm going to share this with you, and I guarantee that it will increase your chances of getting hired. My name is Ryan, and without further ado, let's get into it. Job interviews are broken down into three parts: the first impression, the discovery stage, and finally, the last impression. So let's talk about the first one, first impression. First impression happens during the meet and greet section. This is the initial interaction when all pleasantries are being exchanged. But don't get your guards down, as this is when the hiring manager is actually sizing you up. In split seconds, they take note of your eye contact, handshake, body language, what clothes you're wearing, are you pleasant to talk to or not, do you have high energy or low energy, what you smell like even, and just the way you carry yourself overall. First impression is what the employer will remember you with. So when all is said and done and days or weeks have passed already, the employer will tend to remember what his or her first impression of you was. It's important to note that you also need to consider your own first impression about the hiring manager and the company that you are applying to. Remember that you can potentially work for this company, so it's equally important to know what you're getting into. Alright, so the second part is the discovery stage. The discovery stage, this is the part where they ask questions and discover if you are a good fit for the position or not. So this can be very structured or sometimes very casual. This is where an interviewer asks questions about your resume and experiences, and also asks a series of situational, behavioral, or hypothetical questions. The interviewer's intention at this stage is to discover as much information as possible about you, how you've handled certain challenges in the past, and how you can potentially handle challenges in the future. So the discovery stage usually starts with the interviewer setting expectations or ground rules about the interview process. And then the next part is you being asked to give a chronological highlight about your professional experience. So it's important to note that you only need to share your professional experiences and not your own personal experience unless it has a substantial relevance to your work experience. A good example of this is changing jobs because you have relocated to another province. That's fine. Or you're taking a gap year because you had to go back to school, or maybe take care of a loved one. But remember to only mention this once and only if it's necessary. This intro part is not a surprise and is something that you can prepare for way in advance. So create a killer intro of yourself. Keep it short, professional, and compelling. Okay, the next step is the nitty-gritty part where you will be asked a series of questions and asked to respond. These questions can fall into a lot of different types like situational or behavioral, open-ended, competency-based questions, or hypothetical. But the most common type is the situational question, which usually starts with questions like, tell me a time when, or walk me through your experience about. So remember the 20-60-20 rule when you're asking this kind of questions. So when you respond to these types of questions, 20% of the response is to describe the situation. So be specific and brief. And then the 60% should be geared towards what your initiatives were or how you resolved the situation. Majority of the response should be here. The reason for this is that employers like to hire individuals that are problem solvers and has initiative. So make sure to elaborate on this part. And the last 20% of the response should be on the results or what was accomplished because of your actions. Okay, so the last part of a job interview is the last impression. So this is the part where you are given the chance to ask questions towards the company you are applying for or the person interviewing you. Never leave an interview without asking questions. Please, if you're gonna take something out of this video, take that. Asking questions, especially the very relevant and smart ones, gives you an edge towards other individuals. It demonstrates your interest about the company and shows professionalism and drive. Another thing about asking questions is that it keeps the ball on your side and you can prepare way in advance, hence you have control over it. But just know to keep it 1 or 2 questions and don't go overboard with this as well. So since this falls on the last few minutes of the whole interview process, there's more tendency that this will be remembered. check out this video if you want to know more about what kinds of questions to ask during interviews. Alright, so that's about it. Another short video to help you get to the career that you want. Let me know in the comments below on what was your most unforgettable job interview. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, my friends.